Well, hello everybody. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to surprise you with a new format. Yes, I'm coming back, however, I will not be doing videos the way I used to. I will be doing much bigger, more edited videos that deep dive into a single subject. Hopefully this works out, but there's always a way for you guys to help by liking, sharing, and of course, if you're new, subscribing. Commenting helps, but with how controversial this specific topic is, I have no doubt that commenting's not going to be a problem. So it'll be interesting to say the least. It's good to be back. I missed you guys. Check out my my wall behind me here. Yes, it's a set. I kind of am in the way. I didn't necessarily set it all up super great, but this is a set for my horror channel. Link down in the description below. I really could use 1,000 subscribers there, guys. It's almost there. It's actually been taken off like crazy. So I'm really proud of that. I've been working hard. So I just figured I'd show you guys a little bit of what's changed. Painted this wall matte black because I thought it would be cool. This decor is going to change. I'll have a much brighter candle in that thing because I think it's neat. And I'm going to try and get more creepy stuff to put on the wall for the horror channel. But why not? I'll use it for this channel too because it's just cool. It's a cool background. So anyway, let's jump right on into the video. Steven Crowder is at the moment one of the most controversial figures on the internet. And while that may be the case when speaking about politics or ideology, it's not for those reasons for this video anyway. The main reasons are for him being a terrible person, or at least that's what people want you to think. He has had former employees come out and his own wife, well, ex-wife. However, I'm going to be debunking a lot of these claims as much as I can, though there is a disclaimer here. I have no proof that these incidents did not occur. I am not going to say Steven is innocent, but what I will do is provide the evidence that has been shown on the internet. I'm going to break it down and make as much sense as possible. Please watch the whole video before making a comment or disagreeing with me, as you may be surprised by what I say, and you might be surprised by the evidence as well if you haven't seen it. This is going to be a crazy video, so buckle up. Steven Crowder, born July 7th, 1987, is an American-Canadian conservative political commentator and media host. Early in his career, Crowder worked for Fox News and posted satirical videos on conservative media platforms. He then began hosting Louder with Crowder, a daily political podcast and YouTube channel with commentary segments. It includes a reoccurring segment called Change My Mind, in which Crowder invites people that pass by to converse. In December of 2012, Crowder and members of Americans for Prosperity were involved in an altercation at a demonstration in Michigan concerning the state's recently passed right-to-work law. Crowder's YouTube channel has been demonetized twice. First in 2019, after repeated use of racist and homophobic slurs. Wait, really? Are we really starting off like this? I'm not going to go into detail, but he called a gay man in the name that he literally calls himself openly. So calling someone by their own name that they name themselves on Twitter is homophobic. Sorry I am getting off track, but you can clearly see you cannot even go a full paragraph without someone attacking Steven. This is hardly a good example of moderates attacking him, but still you have to understand the context of how many people want him gone. I am not going to delve too deep into his past. We all know who Steven Crowder is, but fun fact, when he was a kid, he did voice Alan the Brain Powers from the PBS show Arthur, and another fact, he's not credited here. So weird, right? Right. It's not just people on the left that want Steven gone, though. It's also his ex-employees. One particular person is Dave Landau. As we all know, he never wanted to speak about this. Yep, he certainly never wanted to talk about this, right? For nearly a year straight, with no one prompting him to speak on it. Come lights. Yeah, that was a real claim. Apparently, if those lights would come on, that meant no one could speak but Crowder. Then later he said it was only meant for Dave to not be able to speak or something like that. But the weird thing about it is Dave's the only person that talks about this, not anybody else who's worked for Crowder. I find that strange that all these people coming out had nothing to say about these lights. One thing everyone does have in common is apparently saying that Steven yells and gets angry on set, even towards his own father. Now, his father has never said anything about this, but maybe it happens. His current employees have never said that, but that's hardly a good source when they are working for Steven. That is one consistency, so I don't know. However, it does not bother me that he goes and does that per se. Should he be doing that? Absolutely not. Should he chill out? Yes. But is there any proof? No. And how hard would it be to get video of him doing it? Especially if it's this consistent. I have to question the lack of proof again. It doesn't mean he's not doing it, However, I've had bosses do significantly worse than that, and I think most people watching would say the same thing, to be honest. Again, I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not defending Steven if he is doing this, okay? What I'm simply saying is Hollywood's significantly worse. It's on set. I think things can get heated per se. It just seems like a normal kind of thing to me if it was going on. Again, mark it against Steven. Say he's bad for it. That, I'm fine. I'll concede to that 100%. Here's the thing. When it comes to video evidence, this might get you thinking about it a little more. Let's move forward into some video evidence. An argument between Steven and his wife Hillary. Before I show you though, context is needed. We have no idea what took place before this moment in the video. We absolutely 100% know for a fact Hillary deleted 2,000 hours of security footage in which the court told her not to do that before releasing the clip. That makes me believe she didn't want Steven releasing the full context or showing how badly Hillary would act or wanting the judge to see any of it as well. And the third point, he had just had surgery on his chest to fix a problem with something called sunken chest. He had titanium bars inserted into his chest before this video. So he'd just gotten out of surgery. Right after this video was released, he would be rushed to the hospital with a collapsed lung.
I drew a boundary. I drew a boundary. No, you just did it. I drew a boundary of abusive and cruel. You were not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
There's no groceries. I'd be happy.
Steaks, wood pellets, my grill. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I'll go do it. How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect the man? Yes, how does a man respect? How does a man receive love and respect? No. How does a man respect? No, you're not taking the car.
Steven,
you're not taking the car.
Steven,
you are not.
Then I will ask someone to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not correct, Steven.
Get an Uber.
Okay, Steven, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Steven.
Like, I can't
Steven.
go. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either. Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Steven.
The only way out of this is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
We are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline or respect.
Steven.
There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Steven.
Hillary,
Steven?
you give up so easily. I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Steven, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Steven, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. We need to just stop engaging for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you. And the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it. You go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay. Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous. Hillary, you're right. We're at an impasse. Become someone, listen to me, day in and day out, worthy of a wife. No, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife. Hillary, come on now.
I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage anymore. I'm gonna go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need. I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not gonna.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything. You just said I love you. I'm committed to it. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just
walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to get the medication the dogs take? No, you take Betty.
I just have to butt in here real quick to say that what is on screen right now, as the Crowders head inside, Steven gets angrier and angrier, and by his own admission, screams, "I will F you up," at his pregnant wife Hillary, then flees their home. Crowder never admitted that. This is never shown on footage. None of this is true at all. It was absolutely fake. And it's things like that that it's just completely disrespectful and ridiculous. It fills me with a lot of anger to see this. Now, does this video make Steven look good? No. Weird how he's not screaming and yelling, though. I mean, that's the one thing that concerned me. If he was somebody who normally would scream and yell at people on set and stuff, but he doesn't do it to his own wife, I would assume that he respects his wife a little more, right? Or maybe he doesn't really do that at all. I don't know. I can't tell you if that's what goes on in his household. Some people claim that it does, some people claim that it doesn't. And with that, I have to remain neutral, completely. And another thing, this is completely their business. I have no idea what takes place in their household. I don't know how awful Hillary could be. I don't know how great Hillary could be. I don't know how awful Steven Crowder could be or how great he could be either. This is going way too far into his personal life. Again, I find it weird myself that nobody could get proof on video of him screaming and yelling. Now, here we go into the Candace Owens arc of the story. I will be doing a full video on her probably soon as well as Joe Biden, Vosh, Tim Pool, Hassan, other people. I'm going to do individual videos on these people. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, maybe like grifters of the internet, and I'm going to go through the entire videos on people, and by the end of it, we'll know if they're a grifter or not. Maybe it's a video that's showing they're not grifters, or maybe it's a video that shows that they are. I guess we'll find out, right? So, it's going to be interesting. I have a lot of ideas for this channel, but for now, we're going to stick to Steven Crowder and his interactions. We'll go over Candace later, and boy, is that one going to be a doozy. And that does include a massive amount of people on the left side of things. I'm not just going to be attacking, like, Tim Pool, Candace Owens, and I say attacking. We don't know if it's going to even be attacked yet or not, right? I could be siding with everything they say. So, it's all that. I could be siding with some leftists, too. And I do have a few leftists in mind that I actually probably will be defending more than I will be on the offensive about. So, stay tuned for all that. As for Candace, she started off defending the Daily Wire for sending quite the offensive contract to Steven after he left the Blaze. I don't want to go into full details about the contract, but it was a $50 million contract over the course of 5 years. If Steven lost monetization on any platform, that amount would come out of pocket for Steven. I think it was 5 years, maybe it was 4. I can't remember, so don't quote me on the exact amount of years. Candace defended the Daily Wire, saying he should have negotiated, but this was a contract they sent him. This was the predatory contract. If he would have signed it, they would have done the deal. So let's pretend like they wouldn't have done this. If he would have signed that contract, Daily Wire wouldn't have come out and go, oh, that's just a dummy contract. You're silly. No, let's write a fresh one so you get more money. Do you really expect me to believe that, Candace? Well, where's Candace now? I don't think she's going to be defending the Daily Wire anymore at all. In fact, I think her future content's probably going to show her attacking the Daily Wire, but we'll find out down in the future, right? But it seems like she changes sides very often. Now, I'm sure most of you will agree. Social autopsy. Then she sank so low as to comment and reach out to Crowder's wife during the release of that video. Candace has zero clue of the context and zero clue what a nasty divorce can have. It was never any of her business, but she immediately sided with his wife. A real, unbiased person would have remained neutral and waited for evidence to emerge. But not Candace. She decided she knew more about the situation than anyone and made a total fool of herself. And, well, it's kind of funny, right? She was very happy to hear about this new stuff that just came out. And then when Crowder did his video with Gerald showing all the evidence, I noticed she didn't say much, if anything at all. That's weird. Anyway, let's jump forward to Jared. I will not call him by his Twitter name, which is the opposite of the other guy I mentioned, the wonk, I guess we can call him for context. I'm sorry if you guys don't get the reference. I just am not allowed to say their name or YouTube. You know what I mean? But still, this is where things get very, very creepy. Let's start with his, I didn't want to do this video. What a weird statement. He didn't want to out the facts that he was quote-unquote starving or quote-unquote couldn't work or had his life ruined, why wouldn't you want to do this video? I would want to do this video if somebody was holding me back. If somebody was literally making it to where I couldn't feed my family. Are you kidding me? I absolutely would want to do this video. It wouldn't take me 5 years. Absolutely not. This is very strange, okay? To say the least. If I were in that predicament, I would not give any Fs about my previous employer.
Enough is enough. This can't go on any longer, and as the famous saying goes, sunlight is the best disinfectant. So, here we go. I'm currently being legally abused and intimidated into silence by a former employer. This has been going on for a while now, and I simply cannot live in darkness for another day. But I am asking for your help to fight back. First, some context. In late October of 2023, to my surprise, I was served these papers. A cease and desist from my former employer. It threatened severe legal action in the form of a lawsuit and demanded I cease communications with my friends. The scare tactics of cease and desist are generally to intimidate, isolate, and eventually devastate. Like most cease and desist, it also demanded that I swiftly provide them written certificate of my compliance. I did not. In the same delivery, I was also served these papers. A Rule 202 petition from my former employer. You can look that up on the internet. I know I had to. These documents were filed with the county court of my former place of employment, demanding that I be subject to an oral deposition under oath for an unlimited amount of time, where they were free to interrogate me on pretty much any private matter that they chose. Also, in this petition for discovery, they demanded that I turn over documents of all communications with more than a dozen of my friends and unlimited amounts of unnamed persons in any form and over an unlimited period of time. I did not. Now, I did not for a few reasons. Number one, I have seen how this employer handles legal issues, and I knew that once I opened the door to legal abuse, it would never, ever be shut. This is how they operate. In fact, I'm not the only one who's a current victim. My former employer is exploiting the legal system to abuse others right now, all in the darkness, fully knowing that the fear and the risks it takes to speak up. This kind of harassment at the hands of the powerful isn't just designed to financially ruin somebody, it's designed to cripple their soul. And I wasn't about to put my family embark upon a journey down that road. Number two, I was not about to allow the privacy of my personal life, the trust I have with my friends, and the real relationships I have with them to be violated in such an vindictive and abusive manner. It simply was not going to happen. I received Blaze's article of legal harassment on Friday, March 22nd, 2024. After a month now of litigation exhausting even the court with relentless amendments to their Rule 202 petition, my ex-employer was finally awarded their request for my oral deposition and any document of communication with my friends that they believe may provide any avenue to sue me or others. As it stands, they await my forced cooperation. I will not. I will continue to fight. Now, here's the big question, is what was their entire reason for this harassment and the basis for their claims? These documents. An NDA. Some more context. I signed this separation agreement, an NDA, containing a strict and very broad non-disparagement clause many years ago. I voluntarily left my job after deciding I can no longer put myself or my growing family through the toxic and abusive work environment I had endured for years. This place was and is to this day a workplace rife with sexual misconduct, degeneracy, and aggression. The things I saw, the things done to me, and the things I witnessed my employer do to others were disgusting, shocking, and utterly indefensible. I have the receipts. This all took a serious toll on my personal health. To the point near the end of my tenure, the work environment had become so toxic that I had to be admitted into a heart hospital. And after many tests, I was ultimately put on anti-anxiety medication. This condition was something new to me. I had no history of it prior to my employment there and have never been treated for it since. Now, when I decided to resign, my wife was pregnant with her firstborn child. It was a terrifying position to be put in, but I absolutely knew that I could not be the husband or dad I was called to be for them in my current state. Something had to change, and if I couldn't change my work environment, then it was time for me to remove myself from it. I was fully aware that willfully resigning would mean I would forfeit any sort of severance. I trusted that God would provide. What I had not anticipated is how much it would cost me to quit. This is where my first experience with legal abuse began. Starting from the day I delivered my notice of resignation, I was put on the phone with company lawyers, and the good cop, bad cop coercion campaign to get my signature on an NDA was well underway. I was told many lies throughout this process. I immediately hired my own legal counsel, and by the grace of God, understanding my predicament, he even agreed to work for half of his normal rate. Even so, the legal fees immediately began to pile up. My former employer and his attorney argued I could not work in media anywhere in the world, and most certainly not in the United States for 2 years. This is not because I had voluntarily signed some sort of non-compete in my original employment agreement. It was because they decided a non-solicitation clause that was in said original agreement would retroactively be interpreted as the broadest and strictest non-compete one could draft. They told me my Twitter account, another potential lifeline to future work, which I'd owned and been the sole manager of since 2009, was to be turned over to them on the argument that it was somehow their intellectual property now. Presumably to keep me from working even further, my former employer even tried to claim my personal production equipment, gear I had owned for years prior to working there, as company property. After producing every receipt to validate my ownership, a vicious lie that I stole from the company was born and disseminated by my employer. By the way, breaking their side of this bogus mutual non-disparagement agreement. I have those receipts as well. All I simply wanted to do was peacefully leave. It was clear by my employer, though, that this was not only unacceptable, but that I needed to be punished for doing so. Being bullied on each of these terms, and many more, fighting for my basic freedoms to leave and provide for my family, immediately sent me into legal debt. I did not want to sign anything, mind you. But the negotiations with my former employer left no question that without a signed NDA, my guaranteed silence, I would undoubtedly be harassed well into the future. No matter if there are future claims against me for where I worked or what I did or what I said were legitimate or not, it didn't matter. It would cost me thousands and thousands to fight back, and they knew that. I had to make a deal. With nothing but a small savings account and my last paycheck, I had to accept the deal I could afford. It's very important to note here that, where is it? It's here. I was not paid a single dollar for its consideration. Which brings me to what you might be asking next. What was the reason I did sign this? And again, as a man with his first child on the way, the small victory I got from it. The primary reason I signed the NDA was for a small carve-out in the non-compete clause, which allowed me to freely seek employment using some of my skill sets at another specific company. At least I could feed my family. That provision, however, was a lie. And upon starting my new job at the new said company, I was giving another one of these, a cease and desist, and was promptly unlawfully terminated from that position.
I need to take a moment to jump right on in here to say, if you were unlawfully terminated from a position from your employer, sue your employer that unlawfully terminated you. That's pretty simple. That's not Steven Crowder's fault, if that did happen. I'm not sure that did happen, seeing that you don't actually show what's in the papers, you just kind of say what's in them, which is just a weird waste of time, but completely ridiculous argument. Unlawfully terminated. They illegally fired you? Then sue them. That's nobody's fault but your employer at that time. What a dumb argument.
I added thousands more to my legal debt trying to fight back. My wife was very pregnant by this time, and without a financial safety net for groceries and a baby crib, much less a legal fund to file a countersuit, I simply had to let it go, trusting God had a plan. To that point, I want to say that I'm happy to report that he did have a plan, and what was intended for evil, God used for good, and it took me years to pay off my legal debt, but the story of God's faithfulness in my life became a very large part of my testimony, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunities that he gave me, and yeah, it's a story for another day, but back to this. While my supposed non-compete expired after 2 years, unfortunately the most egregious part of my NDA, the part that silences my free speech, has no expiration. While NDAs are classically used to protect trade secrets, unfortunately in the entertainment industry, they are too often used to protect disgusting, unlawful activity and many forms of abuse. We see examples of this all the time. Powerful people and their attorneys routinely use NDAs to silence victims in order to remain powerful people. Free speech matters. It matters a lot to me, and that's not just a t-shirt slogan. It really matters. And these kinds of NDAs, right here, coming from this, are unquestionably unconstitutional. I will not live with the burden of this unconstitutional NDA over my head for the rest of my life, especially when information I have can be used to aid other victims escape their own abusive situations, which is the context for which this former employer feels they caught me breaking my agreement. Let me be clear, what I'm afraid of is legal harassment in perpetuity, not the truth. Only one side of this ordeal is spending a fortune to hide truth and punish anyone who dares speak up for themselves or other victims. While I will not give in to the harassment by my former employer, I have to recognize that this process has already become unbearably expensive, not only because of the general expense of the legal process, but because my former employer has seemingly unlimited wealth and resources to gleefully spend punishing powerless people. I tried to handle legal fees on my own these last months, and the fees have already reached the tens of thousands of dollars with no resolution in sight. Unstopped, this type of legal abuse could go on for years and years and quickly escalate into hundreds of thousands of dollars as I fight to protect myself and my family. I cannot put my wife and my children through this. Not again. I cannot be bound to an unconstitutional NDA like this forever. Protecting my family means finding a path that doesn't leave us in financial ruin, and we are simply out of funds, and I have no other option but to ask for help. I'm asking for donations for two reasons. Number one, obviously to help with the financial burden I've already accrued with this legal matter right here. That's taking care of that matter is priority number one as I'm going further and further into debt with each passing day. The second reason I'm asking for financial assistance, is to proactively address my unconstitutional anti-free speech NDA, which is the basis for all of their claims against me. The simplest resolution here would be for Mac's employer to release me from the NDA. Give me and my fellow Mac's employees the same free speech they publicly champion for every other American. But I can almost guarantee you that will not happen. I've already witnessed them spend unfathomable amounts of money in other cases to protect their double life and secrets. No more darkness. That's why, beyond the current burden I face from my ex-employer's legal abuse, I will be using these donations to fight back and file a counter motion, placing my unconstitutional NDA before a judge to have it dissolved in its entirety. I want my First Amendment rights back. I want to stop the cycle of abuse, and I want truth to be known. This takes incredible resources I simply don't have. Truthfully, I don't know how much money this will take, probably much more than my current goal is, but every penny I do have left from your donations will go toward helping other ex-employees, dear friends of mine, fight back and escape their identical situations with the same employer. To accept donations by GoFundMe, and to make it easy, you can go to freejaredmonroe.com. It will take you there. Please share this message. I know some of you cannot afford help, but some of you this post helps so much. And for any of you who can help big or small, public or anonymous, I and my wife, my children, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I just want to say this, you too are, have been, and such abuse, for whatever, know that I see you and I hear you, and I encourage you to be courageous. No more darkness. Victims of the cruel and powerful deserve a voice. Truth is the sword that slays monsters, so let there be truth. Free speech matters.
Cool, man. So what's in the papers? Oh, you didn't show it. Right. Okay. When Jeremy from the Quartering asked for comment, why didn't you? He's got 1 million subscribers. How far could your video have gotten out there? How many people could you have touched their little heartstrings with if you just would have, I don't know, go on a couple shows? Why didn't you comment to anyone? All of his arguments are just on Twitter, which you can see on screen here. Yet, it shows nothing. He voluntarily signed the documents. No one forced him. Now as for Steven Crowder's response. The group messages, Hillary's book she's writing, Jared and Hillary teaming up to end him, make it his worst nightmare, and watch the fear in his eyes? This is seriously creepy stuff. An extortion. He pays his wife $25,000 a month in child support. Fun fact though, there's a nice little community note saying Steven Crowder didn't pay his wife $25,000 a month in child support. He's only paying her $25,000 a month in child support until the divorce ends. So he's paying her $25,000 a month in child support. What? Who let that community note go up on Twitter? I swear to God, like, people have such debate brain. They want to be so right all the time that they don't even pay attention to what it is that's coming out of their mouths. It's so irritating. Anyway, this is insane though. Hillary admits that Steven's offer was good as well, yet they turned it down because she wanted more than fair and good. This is a fact. These are in the documents here, okay? This is who Jared teamed up with. Instead of getting what's right and fair, they wanted to destroy him. Not to mention the whole statement from her and her legal team saying they were going to put pressure on him and PR assets should be pursued and that they will show Steven the path to make it all go away. This is absolutely extortion. Louder with Crowder is suing Hillary and her family for tortious interference. Now to focus on Jared. Why are you involved with his divorce? Why are you trying to get his kids taken away? What is wrong with you? Is there any proof he abused them or something? Is there something we're missing that you're not wanting to put out there for some reason? I'm so confused. This is crazy. It's so out of the ordinary. I don't care what side any of my viewers are on, or I don't care about any of the people that hate Crowder, love Crowder, or anything. You cannot tell me, no matter how much you don't like Crowder, that this isn't absolutely creepy. Are you serious? What is this trash? I'm not going to speculate on Jared teaming up with Hillary and what they may be doing behind closed doors or anything like that. I don't actually care that much and why they would be doing this, but this is just creepy. Not to mention this mysterious potato, which there were only 3 possibilities. Either Steven faked it, Jared sent it, or someone else sent it. I completely discredit the other person sending it, like the mystery person, since only someone who doesn't like Steven would have sent it to his address. And seeing that Jared is the only one actively fighting against him other than his ex-wife, I tend to believe it was Jared. I don't see why the ex-wife would send him a potato to freak him out about his address being found. Maybe she did, I don't know. Or Steven just made it up. It's a possibility Steven just made it up, you know what I mean? I lean in Steven's favor on this since he's the only one who shows receipts. Jared doesn't, and his ex-wife is literally admitting to Steven giving her a very, very fair offer for the divorce, something she'd be happy with, but not taking it because she wants to destroy him. That's just unbelievable. Why would I side with those people? That's insanely crazy. Maybe Steven is just as bad as these people, right? But he hasn't shown it, and the others have. So what other choice do I have at this point? That's kind of the angle I'm coming from. Here's the thing, too. Steven Crowder's kids were born way after Jared left Louder with Crowder. They shouldn't have any type of relationship anymore. They shouldn't have any contact really anymore for the most part. And yet, he is inserting himself into Steven's children's lives and into Steven's personal divorce. Listen, Jared, you want to become stepdad or something? Fine, I don't care. I don't care if you want to go about that angle. Whether you become stepdad or not should stay out of their divorce. It is none of your business. The only business you could possibly have is if you were to marry Hillary and move on from there, right? I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening, but that's the only way you should have any type of business in it is after. But while they're going through the divorce, For the love of God, let them divorce. I don't care what ends up happening in the divorce. It's none of my business. It's none of your business either. Stay out of it. There's no possible way I could ever support Jared at this time, knowing this information. As for the court case, I just really don't want to get involved in this anymore. I don't really want to talk about it much anymore, but there's a few things I have to go over, and then after this, you're not going to catch me talking about their divorce anymore. I just don't care. It's their own personal thing. It would be settled by the courts, and should only involve Stephen and Hillary. Now to address the other stuff. We see what was in the NDA and the non-competition contract, but let's go a little deeper. Here's an image of Texas law, where Stephen's studio is. Now, I've been told that maybe it was signed in Nashville, or maybe it was signed in the state of Michigan. Irrelevant. No court is going to uphold any contracts in their state where a business no longer exists. There is no way. Plus, Stephen would have to sue in those states where both parties are no longer at, where they are both working in different states. How does Tennessee or Michigan tell someone they cannot legally work in another state also? What, they're going to have an NDA signed in that state and then say you can't go work in Oklahoma? You can't go work in California or something like that? Both of those states, fun fact, actually do not allow non-competition clauses at all. They're illegal. Actually, there are 5 states: Colorado, Minnesota, North Dakota, Oklahoma, and California. So, yeah, I think I said all those right. Anyway, the whole thing about all this is there's just no way that these states would tell anybody that they can't go work in another state. That's not legally binding. Okay? Now, about the Texas law. Notice the part where it says reasonable time. For a news channel, comedy channel, reasonable time would probably be for technology. That's the only case where I can see this working after you quitting. I don't know, maybe you shouldn't go work for Elon Musk for 5 years at SpaceX and then turn around and take all of his plans on how to build rockets to a different space company, right? I can understand a non-competition clause for that. It's pretty easy. But there's no way that this would hold up. Now, I'm not saying Steven's a good guy for making this competition contract, but aside from all that, it doesn't matter. Jared decided to sign it. He knew what it said. And even so, I really don't think after 5 years that this is enforceable at all anymore. Go get a job. What's Steven going to do? Go and sue you? He has to provide all the proof. He has to make a good case for it. You don't have to do anything, man. Just sit there and defend yourself and say, I need a way to feed myself. I need a way to provide for my family. What judge is going to side with Steven on that? Seriously. Texas law is pretty good. It's pretty good, I would say. There's no way Texas would enforce this. A news guy or comedian or whatever else involving entertainment over 5 years. It's not going to happen. Jared is 100% lying about not being able to work. There's just no way around this. All that being said, though, let's go ahead and go to the worst case scenario. Let's say Texas does enforce this on Jared. Let's read this part together. If a covenant not to compete is violated, a court may award the employer monetary damages and or injunctive relief, but it will generally not be able to recover its attorney fees. So, Steven has to pay the attorney fees. Then Steven has to prove that there were damages. So maybe Steven does win. What damages did you do by going and working for, let's say, the News on 6, as a reporter or something, or as an anchorman, or as the comedy joke guy of the week? Well, he's going to have to prove that you stole jokes, or prove that you stole news stories, or something, right? But it's news. There's no way that something you're covering today was even a thought 5 years ago. No way. Are you kidding me? What damages are going to take place? Come on, dude. You got to be smarter than this. The next part is, can you get out of a non-compete? And it says, it's fair to say that there aren't many hard and fast rules that govern non-compete agreements in Texas, meaning the factual determinations are key when analyzing these agreements. If a non-compete agreement is deemed to be unreasonable and therefore unenforceable, a Texas court can then modify the agreement to make it legally compliant. Now, knowing this, you mean to tell me it's reasonable for this to be held up in Texas court? Just not a chance. Jared has never shown any indication of talking to a lawyer or even attempting to challenge this. Why not just go get a job? There's a high chance his news comedy job would easily defend him probably, or even at bare minimum, Steven would have to sue and go through the process. It's just too easy for Jared. Everything's in his favor on this. Steven would have to do so much more work than Jared to make this case go in his favor. And then, of course, the payout isn't even worth it. I find this to be BS. He knows he is no longer bound by this non-competition contract. He knows he can go to work, but he would rather promote his podcast and get attention, as well as steal people's money from a crowdfunding campaign scheme. This is ridiculous, and it's time to grow up. Thank you all very much for watching this video. Hopefully I didn't miss any details. It's good to be back in a fresh new way, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Like I said, I have so much more coming, but it will be about once a month. So if you want to see another video like this, I just got done recording my Nickelodeon Dan Schneider video for my true crime channel. Link in the description below. Please subscribe. It's almost at 1,000 subs and would help a lot. Thank you all so much again. And like I said, I love being back. This is great, guys. I missed you all. I'm down 20 pounds, if you couldn't tell. And hitting the gym and, you know, doing everything right. So I'm eager to get back into it, guys. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.